On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about, do I need to rebrand? Because sometimes we got to come to a realization that if you have a brand and it's not resonating with the target market that you're trying to connect with, or if you have a brand message that isn't clear or isn't getting through to people that you are trying to target and what have you, or you have a logo idea that really isn't hitting or making a connection with people that you are trying to target and what have you, it might be time for you to do a rebrand. Think about rebranding your brand and what have you, because sometimes in life we have to do what's best for us in order for us to be able to succeed at what we are trying to get. So it's very important that you do that. It's very important if you are at that point where you're not seeing the results that you want to see, or you're not getting the type of feedback or what have you, or you're not getting the type of eyes onto your brand or what have you, it might be your time for you to rebrand. But other than that, man, let's tap into episode number 22. Yep. And grand rising to all my investors and stuff out there. Thank you for tapping in with me on another Rebrand Podshow for this Monday. This is officially episode number 22, and the topic that I'm gonna be talking about today is, do I need to rebrand? But before I get into the topic, you know what to do, man. If you are listening to this playback on our YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. As you see in the back, hit the subscribe button, and also make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when a new episode drop. And make sure you smash on that like button. It's very important that you do that. And if you are listening to this playback on Spotify, make sure you hit the follow button so you can be notified when a new episode drop. And also make your way over to investbrand.com now, and make sure you join our journey, InvestBrand journey, because the journey was created for y'all, man, to be able to follow us, to be able to be part of the InvestBrand as we are moving our way up in entrepreneurship and what have you. So it's very, very important. And when you're there, make sure you get your InvestBrand hoodie, get your InvestBrand shirt, so you can be wearing your motivation at all times and what have you. But you know what it is, man. I'm gonna take a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back with the segment Quote Me on That, where I read you a quote and I explain to you what the quote means. But other than that, guys, I'll be right back, man. So make sure you tap back in with me. Yep. Go to InvestBrand right now and get your motivational gear so you can be dripped in the spirit of motivation. Understand, you are your own brand. InvestBrand.com. Welcome back to the InvestBrand Pod Show for today. Like I said, today topic that we're going to be talking about today is, do I need a rebrand? But before I get into the topic, you know what it is, man. So it's time for the segment Quote Me on That, is where I read you a quote and I explain to you what the quote means. So today quote for all my people out there investing in yourself, my investors of self, my entrepreneurs, or people out there pursuing goals, what have you. Today quote is, the best road to follow is the path that you created. Once again, let me read the quote just in case you didn't hear or you didn't understand what I said. The best road to follow is the path that you created. And what I mean by that is, sometimes in life it's not always a good idea to go down the same road that everybody else has gone down and what have you, right? Because you don't want to continue to do the same thing that a lot of people have already done, because a lot of times that can become oversaturated, or it could be a road that leads you to nowhere and what have you. So in life, if you want to create opportunities for yourself, right? Because opportunities is not going to fall in your lap. But if you want to create opportunities for yourself, create a better way for yourself and what have you, and create your own blueprint, the best way to do it is you create your own path. Once you create your own path, you are making a paved road for yourself that you can travel anytime, right? That's just like saying you coming up with a blueprint on how to build your brand or how to build a brand. So the blueprint that you come up with, you can use that to build so many other brands and what have you. So that's going to be the road that you have paved for yourself, and that's going to be your path that you're going to be able to take anytime you want and what have you. So it's best, always a better option in life to create your own path, man. Pave your own roads, man, because when you create your own opportunities, then you can set yourself up in a way where you can be successful in so many ways. But that's what the quote means. Let me read the quote one more time before I get into the topic. The best road to follow is the path that you created. It's the quote for today. Like I said, man, we're gonna jump right into the topic for today. Today's topic, we'll be talking about, do I need a rebrand? Because it's very important for you to ask yourself that. If you're an entrepreneur out there and you have a brand that you feel like it's not where you wanted to be at, right? Or you haven't seen the progress that you felt like you should have seen so far since you've been since you launched your brand and what have you, especially if it's been a minute, right? This may be time for you to sit down and really come to a realization that you might need to rebrand. And you ask, okay, what is a good indications that I might need to rebrand? Well, if whatever field that you in, entrepreneurship and what have you, what type of brand you have, if your logo of your business, if your brand message, if your product, your content, what have you, if it's not really resonating with the people that you're trying to target or what have you, that's a good indication to let you know that you might need to do a rebrand, right? Especially your website is not getting any eyes, any movement or any action of people coming to your website, or no one stopping to look at your product or what have you, or your content, or just your logo is not resonating with the people, or your brand message isn't clear and what have you, right? But don't get me wrong. That's why I say sit down and really evaluate to see if you really need to rebrand, because sometimes you might just need to do a brand refresh. And that's just basically, you might need to refresh your logo. You don't need to get rid of it and get a whole new logo. You might just need to refresh the colors that's within your logo. You might need to take some off, right? Or you might need to add a different color, what have you, right? Or you might just need to touch up your brand message. Might just take out a couple words or add a couple words to your message so it can be a lot clearer. So it might just be needed just a minor little tune-up, right? Nothing drastic as a rebrand or what have you, right? So I'm going to give you a couple things that you can look at to see if you need to do a rebrand, right? Because sometimes in life we've been wasting time on something that's been dead for a minute now, that you should not be wasting any more time, because if you want to head in that right direction and get to where you want to and take your brand to that next level, it's probably time for you to reevaluate your brand to see if you need to rebrand, especially if you've been in it for a minute and you haven't seen the results that you want to see. Because, sometimes we sometimes get married to an idea, right? And we are just hell bent on this idea that we have far as a business that we done launch, and it's not doing anything. So it might be time for you to tap into a rebrand. You know what I'm saying? Look into, okay, how do I rebrand? What do I need to start with first and what have you, right? So like I said, that's why it's a good thing, before I get started, that's why it's a good thing for you to build a community. And a lot of times some people would tell you that it's probably best for you to build your community first, because your community will tell you what they want to see from you, right? They will help you along the way to what they would like from you. And it will make it a lot more easier for you to produce things that people are willing to buy, or people are waiting to buy from you, because they are part of your community and they already are down with you because what you talk about and sometimes people just like the way your authentic self is, and how you come off, and it's something that value that you add into people's life, that people really enjoy being part of your community, what have you. So that's why sometimes it is important for you to build a community first, so you won't waste a lot of time creating something that doesn't add value to people's life. So it's very important that you do that. So things that you can look for when it comes to your brand, when you're looking at your brand and you reevaluating your brand, and you're seeing what you can do far as a rebrand. Okay, if you have a brand, right, and you feel like it's not going in the direction you want to go, one thing you can look at, right, you can start with is the logo, because you want to make sure. Matter of fact, you start with your name. Start with your name. You can start with your name and your logo. Start with your name, because you want to make sure the name of your brand is lining up with the vision that you have for it, right? Because I'm gonna use my brand for example. If I created a brand, right, and my Invest brand stands for, investing in yourself, because we all are our own brand, right? So through Invest brand motivational streetwear, we are providing inspirational messages that keep people motivated, especially people out here that's in the field of entrepreneurship, or people out here pursuing goals in life to become a better person in life, or just to produce wealth for yourself and what have you. Give yourself a greater future, right? That's what Invest brand is. That's why it's called Invest brand, because we are our own brand and we are investing in ourselves, and which is our brand, ourself, right? But that's the vision. That's the message, right? But if I called it market price, right? But my brand message is what I just said, right? And that was the vision of it, right? I'm taking it to whereas, people come to when they think about motivation and being motivated, they can come to Invest brand, right? So that's the vision, and I call it market price. You see how the two don't go hand in hand, because when people think of market price, you thinking of the stock market. What's the market price of a stock that you're trying to buy and what have you, right? So that would be confusing to a lot of people, because a lot of people be like, okay, I see the brand message, the vision, and what have you, but it doesn't line up with the name. Why is the name called market price when this is obviously is a brand that's providing inspirational streetwear, providing motivational streetwear with inspirational messages within a streetwear and what have you, right? When we see market price, we thinking of stock and what have you. So you want to make sure your name and your vision is clear. Is go hand to hand. It's nothing totally different. Just like, I don't know if a lot of people know, when Google first came about and they came up with an idea of a search engine and what have you, the first name they came up with was called Backrub, right? Just imagine that you have a laptop now, right, and your default screen is called Backrub, right? Because it's not called Google yet, right? So when they thought about it, and they thought about the vision that they had for the search engine and what have you, right? They thought about it, okay, Backrub really is not going to really resonate with the people. It don't really, make sense to call it Backrub, because when you think of Backrub, you're thinking of a massage, going to a massage place and what have you, getting a massage and what have you, Backrub, right? But they went back to the drawing board and they changed the name from Backrub to Google, because Google sound more better as a search engine than Backrub and what have you. So that's why you want to make sure before you put something out there, make sure the name and the vision go hand in hand. It ties in with each other. It's very clear, to the point. People understand the name and they understand the vision that's behind the name and what have you, right? And another thing to look at is your logo. Is your logo is something that gonna resonate with the people when somebody see your logo, they understand what it is, what it means, and what have you, right? Because it's very important, right? Does it have the right colors in it? Does it have colors that come off to make people want to give people some sense of intrigue, to be able to people have a sense to where they become intrigued. Might as well say that they will stop on your content, or when once they see your logo, and they'll be like, oh, that's a very cool logo. I like that logo. I like the way it looks. Let me check out the website and see what product that they have in here, right? So you want to make sure your logo is clear. You want to make sure, the colors that you have, because it's like what they call it, buyer psychology, right? You want to make sure you tapping into that, where people will become more each time they see your logo. It makes them want to go and check out your website because it's a dope logo that you created and what have you, right? It doesn't have to be a very complex logo. It can be something simple, because you want to keep it to whereas people can read it, people can understand it, and the meaning behind it and what have you, right? So you want to make sure you check on your logo, and make sure it's something that's going to resonate with the people when you're creating your logo and what have you. So that's another good indication to look at, to make sure you might not have to strap the logo that you have and create a whole new one. So you want to look at your logo. That's another thing. That's number 2. Look at your logo and make sure it's something that's going to resonate with the people, because sometimes, like I said before, it might not be to whereas you need to rebrand and scrap your whole logo. It might be something that you might need to do a refresher with, refresh it a little bit, update it, change the color a little bit, So it might need to be something like that. That maybe after that, your brand logo will start resonating with people that you're trying to target or what have you, right? And another thing to look at, number 3, is your brand message. The message that's within your brand, like your story and what have you. Is it something that when people go and look at the message within your brand, your story, what have you, is it something that's going to resonate with them? Is it something that's going to be clear? Because sometimes people create stories for their websites and what have you that's very complex, rather than just keep it simple. Because when you keep it simple, you not to where it's too simple, but just keeping it simple in the sense of it feels like it's authentic. It's not something that's forced, or something that people can see that, well, this doesn't feel like it's real, right? People want to be able to read your story or your brand, the message behind your brand, and when they read it, they want to feel like it's something that's authentic. Something that can resonate with them, something that's they might have been at one point and what have you. So when you are creating your story for your brand, you want to make sure it's something that's authentic, man, because you got to understand authenticity is the key, right? Because people like things that are real, right? So you want to make sure your story is real. So that's another indication to look at, as a brand owner. You want to that's why it's always good for you to go look at your website every now and then to make sure that is something that you like. Read through your story, make sure it's something that hits home. It's something that's resonate with yourself. It's something of yourself and what have you, because that's what makes it so important. That's what make people want to continue to come back and what have you, right? So that's another indication to make sure that you can look at. So the first 3 things was, the first thing was making sure your brand name and your vision of your brand, behind your brand, line up with each other and what have you, right? And number 2 is your logo. Look at your logo, make sure it's something that's readable, make sure it's something that people will understand, that resonate with people. And number 3, what I just said, is your brand message, your story behind your brand. Make sure it's clear, make sure it's something that people can really resonate with, something that's authentic and what have you. So it's very important to look at them 3 things. And another thing is your content, right? Make sure the content that you are creating is something that's real, that's authentic, that's something that's clean, because people like content that's going to catch their eye. They like content that's something that's authentic, because when you creating content and it's content that makes people stop when they scrolling in their phone, every time they see your content, they stop. It's going to make people want to go to your website and see what type of product that you have, because they are very intrigued from the point of looking at your content, right? So look at your content. If it's content that you have on your site that's really isn't getting a lot of eyes, don't worry about the likes, man. Likes don't produce sales. Don't worry about likes and none of that. But if it's something that's not producing eyes onto your content or making people stop, then that content is dead. You want to get rid of that content, right? Because the thing is, you are trying to target people that's within what you are doing for as an entrepreneur. So you're trying to get eyes on your content far as the people that you are targeting. So if it's content that's not really deemed as stop worthy, or deemed as something that people really can resonate with, or something that people really like, or is just something that's just particularly dead, it's content that's not good. Because you gotta understand, detail matters within your content. So you don't want to create content that doesn't have any type of detail, content that looks rushed, content that doesn't feel authentic, right? Understand, potential buyers look at everything. They want to make sure that your pictures are clear. Make sure your pictures is not blurry, right? Make sure the product that you have within your picture is very detailed. If you have shirts, if you have hoodies, you want to make sure you're not taking pictures of something that's wrinkled, have lint on it, right? You want to make sure because understand, people look at everything far as your content. If you got a hoodie, people look at the way the strings set on your hoodie, your hoodie string set on your hoodie, and what have you. People look at how it's positioned. So people look at the shirts the same way. People look at your content, and if you don't have stop worthy type of content, people are not going to stop on your content. You're not going to get the eyes that you on your content that you are targeting and what have you. So it's very important to go back to your business page, right? Whatever social media platform you have your business, you have your business on and what have you. Go and look at your content, right? If it's content that's not good, if you run across content that you see where it doesn't have any type of detail in it and what have you, then get rid of it. Trust me. People really is not going to remember that content was on your page, because you're not getting any eyes on your content anyway. So no one going to remember. So if you have to get rid of all the content on your page because it's not really good content, do what you got to do, because this is part of the rebranding process. You are rebranding everything. You're rebranding everything from your logo to your brand name, your brand message, and what have you, your content, because you are trying to create and rebrand a brand and create something that can potentially get you to where you need to go, right? For as building a brand. Because you don't want to continue to work on something, continue to try to build something that's dead, or continue to try to build something that's not going anywhere. So it's time for you to, strap it, rebrand it, and so you can be able to focus and put your energy on something new, right? That's why it's important for you not to become married to an idea, because sometimes that idea might not work to the point where you might have to rebrand it. You might have to get rid of it and grab another idea that you have, right? So don't become married to your idea. Stay and instead of learn how to bring your idea into fruition. Learn how to bring your idea into where you need to take it and what have you, right? And that's part of rebranding your brand and building it, and what have you, right? So I said your name, make sure your name and your vision matches with each other, goes hand in hand and what have you. Your logo, make sure you check your logo, check your brand message, your story and what have you. And make sure you check your content. Make sure the detail within your content is something that people are going to stop, because guess what? When people are looking on social media, you got people on social media all day looking at different content that people post and what have you. You got some people on social media looking for the next thing they want to buy and shop. And when somebody's strolling and you have content that's so good and dope that people will stop every time, because now it's on their subconscious mind. Anytime they see your logo, they're like, oh, I know what that brand is. I know what that brand got dope product. I love his message because it's something that resonates with me. It adds value to my life. So just like I'm gonna use Nike for example. Like Nike don't even have to use the word Nike at all. All you have to see is that Nike symbol, the logo, and what have you, and people understand what it is. People know what it is, right? So that's the point where you want to get it. When people stroll to the point, they don't even have to see your content right away. They just see your logo right there and they know what it is, right? They're like, oh, that's dope. Or you can be out and about and somebody wearing your product and you can have just the name on your shirt of your brand and people already know what it is because it's resonate with the people. It's adding value to people's life. So anytime somebody see your logo, they like, you know what? That's a dope brand right there. So everybody have their phones. So you never know. That might be enough for people to stop and go to your website and buy something for your website. So it's all about make sure you putting together your brand. You putting together something that's going to add value to people's life. That's going to be something that's going to be authentic, because people like things that are real, right? People like things that's going to resonate with something that they can identify with and what have you. And like I said, go back to my brand, Invest Brand. People can resonate with motivation, right? Because motivation is not going anywhere. Motivation is like real estate. Like people going to buy houses forever, just like people going to need motivation, want motivation, or is looking for motivation, right? So and that's what Invest Brand is. So that's what we indulge in, motivating people, keeping entrepreneurs motivated, people pursuing goals motivated, right? And that's what this Invest Brand is all about, right? So when we put together Invest Brand on that type of concept and we had that type of vision for it, we understood that we have something that we can build on from generation to generation. But it's all up to us on how we're going to build it, right? Because everything in life have a shelf time life, right? So we got to continue to refresh our brand, continue to rebrand it with different ideas, different concepts. Because yes, people going to need motivation, but at the same time, we don't want to continue to use concepts that we used 10 years ago, right? Or use concepts that we used 5 years ago. We want to continue to build concepts. So each generation are going to look for motivation in different ways. And we want to make sure that we stay ahead of the curve, ahead of the game. So it's very important. That's why I say when you creating your brand and you building your brand, you got to create it in a way and build it in a way to make sure that it's not going to be something that you're going to waste your time in trying to build and it's been dead for a long time and you still trying to build it, right? So it's very important that you understand that. So That's just what's that? What I gave you 5 things? No, I gave you 4 things. So the last thing that in number 5, the last thing is if you say, for instance, everything 1 through 4 is working, everything's good, you might need to do a rebrand to tap into a new audience, bring a whole new audience in, and at the same time continue to satisfy your reoccurring customers, people that's already been rocking with your brand and what have you. The people that's out, the target of people that you already targeted, and they already part of your community, what have you. Now you trying to tap in to a whole new audience and bring them in within your community and what have you. So this might be a good time for you to rebrand, to bring in more people within your community and what have you. So you might create you might create a product, that's geared towards the new audience that you're trying to tap into, a new message for the new audience you're trying to tap into, what have you, right? Different vision for the new audience you trying to tap into, what have you. So whatever you way you want to go about it and what have you, but you tapping into trying to get tap into a new audience to bring within your community. At the same time, you keeping your old audience that you tap into. So you're not particular just getting rid of the your old audience that you tapped into, but you just finding a new audience to bring in within your brand community and what have you. So sometimes it may take a rebrand to find new people, right? Because that's what it's all about, finding a new people to bring within your community and what have you. And now you can turn them into recurring customers, right? People that can help you scale your brand and what have you. So that's what's very important, man, when it comes to a rebrand. So don't think of a rebrand always being a bad thing, right? Like I said, 1 through 4, if everything is good, your brand been making its numbers, sales, and what have you. People love your brand, rock with your brand. You have community full of people. Sometimes it's always good to tap into a new audience and bring them in within your community of people, and not changing everything about your brand where it's going to upset people that's already been rocking with your brand. So it's just a rebrand in a way where you can bring in new people, new customers, what have you, people within your community that may need what you provide, new people that you can add value to their life and what have you. So it's very important. So I don't want y'all to think because you have to rebrand, it's going to be a bad thing. But rebranding is a good thing, because now you get to rebrand yourself, rebrand your goals, get focused back again and what have you. So rebranding is not a bad thing. Rebranding is just helping you move on to another idea that can possibly help you, because if you constantly wasting time on an idea that's been dead a long time ago, you might have a home run idea sitting there that you haven't got to, because you constantly trying to get this idea going or what have you. So it's very important, man, to not think of a rebrand as a bad thing, but think of it as something that's going to help you down the line and what have you, right? Especially when you're trying to build a brand. Like I said, some of y'all don't even need a rebrand. Some of y'all might just need a brand refresh. Like I said, you might need to change the logo a little bit here and there, color and what have you. You might have a flat logo where you might want to make it look 3D, what have you. So whatever you want to go buy a brand refresh. Like I said, you might want to change your packages, how you package your product and what have you, the packages that you put your product in and what have you. So a brand refresh can be anything, especially it's something that's not drastic as a rebrand and what have you. So that's what it is, guys. But thank y'all for tapping in with me on Invest Brand Podshow, another one, episode number 22. Thank you guys, man, very much. Like I said, if you're watching this on our Invest Brand YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button as you see in the back, subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to be notified when a new episode drop. And also hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. We're trying to get into this algorithm, what have you, so we can stay in there. And if you listen to this on Spotify, make sure you hit the follow button. Hit the follow button so you can be notified when a new episode drop on Spotify. Make sure you make your way over to investbrand.com and join our journey, guys. Join our journey, because the journey was built for you. And make sure you get your motivational streetwear, because guess what? Invest Brand want to make sure that you stay and investing in yourself. Yep. Other than that, guys, man, tap back in with me. Yep.